Hello, welcome. This is the part 2 of our talk about meditation and Tantra. How it's fundamental to meditate in Tantra. How is important to live in meditation in this life. How we can bring meditation to our daily life, because meditation is not something to be done only in the meditation room, in that practice that we can have daily. That's a very important practice. It's very important to have a discipline of meditation practice, but to bring to life, to bring to our current normal daily life, it's a big part of our transmission. And it's very useful. It's really useful. And if you look at even the big scientists that had passed hours and hours studying something, sometimes it was in a moment of silence. There is different description from different amazing people that was in the moment of silence that the information, that insight, that the sparkling idea arrive. Because maybe we have a body that is connected with everything, that is connected with the other, that is connected with the universe, that is a magnetic field. And maybe in this silence, when there is the noise, when there is not this traffic, mental traffic, there is the possibility to have the real directly connection with the source, with the information source. Sometimes people ask us how I get in silence in meditation. And our answer is that that's not the point. The point is to be present in each moment. And if in this moment you are observing lots of thoughts in your mind, that this traffic that is kind of a global pandemic problem that is everywhere, is the thoughts, the thoughts, the thoughts. If you have the opportunity to observe that, you are aware. You are in that moment with connection with you, because these thoughts might be all the time. Maybe the difference as a technique is that you don't get attached to the thoughts, that you don't feed the thoughts, because they are there, and they are there in every moment in life. When you stop, when you slow down, when you give opportunity to connect with your meditation, you start to observe these thoughts that before, when you were in a no meditation process, you were not even aware, and they were there. And when you are aware of something like the thoughts in your mind, like this traffic in your mind, maybe something slow down. Maybe you are not feeding the thoughts. Maybe you are getting more on the present moment. And that is fundamental as a base for the Tantra. That means expansion of awareness.
Yes, so how do we make those thoughts less addictive? How do we get less attached to our thoughts? It's all a great concept to say, yes, it's to stop being attached to the thoughts, or to let the thoughts go like a cloud in the sky when you're meditating. But how do you do that? Well, we have this one fundamental tool that is right under our noses since the day we were born, which is our breath. So if you take a deep breath when you're trying to meditate and you focus on that breath, you inhale for as long as you can, and then you exhale as slowly as you can. That's one tool to start to quieten the mind. And then you might have another thought, and there's like, oh, what should I have for lunch today? Or, oh, I didn't do this thing on my to-do list. The breath. Oh, yeah, the breath. And then you breathe slowly and deeply into the belly. And then eventually, when you just keep doing this practice, allow the thoughts to come, go back to the breath. Allow the thoughts to come, go back to the breath. You will start to realize the space between the thoughts is becoming bigger and bigger. And that is where the silence is. That is where inspiration comes from. That is where magic happens. So the simple technique could be to inhale for the count of 4, hold for the count of 4, and then exhale for the count of 4, and hold it out for the count of 4. Keep doing that. Get distracted by thoughts. Bring the awareness back to the breath. And then eventually, as you do that, you will get better and better. That's just one technique with the breath. It's called box breathing, but you can do many other variations of numbers or whatever feels good. You know, that's just one tool for now. And that is one way to do what Ashik was saying, to become more spacious in the mind and less attached to the thoughts, and to become more at peace with the thoughts, because your thoughts are not a crime. You don't need to feel ashamed for having all these thoughts. It's the way that we are now. We have this monkey mind, this chitta vritti, going from one topic to the next. And it's not a crime. It is the way that it is right now. And there are so many tools and practices that you can do to have more awareness. It doesn't need to be control of the thoughts, but it's more awareness, so that you are the driver of your mind, and your mind is not driving you with chaotic thinking. There is a way to become more whole with the mind and not be like, not to say a victim, but not to be at the service of your mind. Your mind is a tool, and it's a fantastic tool. We just haven't been taught how to harness it. Even though there have been many lineages, including Tantra and different types of meditation lineages, that help us to become more empowered with our mind, rather than being kind of a slave to the mind. So, yeah.
Yeah, to go back to the body, to go back to the present moment, because the body, it's always in the present moment. It's good to remember. It's never too much to repeat the possibility that we have to go back to the body, to go back to the breath, to go back to feel the temperature of the body, to go back to feel the contraction or relaxation in the body, to feel the heart. And if you start to feel the heart and to feel the breath and to feel our grounding at the same time, it's much more difficult to have random thoughts, because we occupy the mind with that perceptions, and that perceptions are in the present moment. It's not to fight the thoughts with more thoughts, is to use the body to bring us to the present moment. And that is the base of the meditation. And only from there we can expand our awareness. And you might think, how is this useful? Maybe this is something very spiritual, esoteric. It's very useful, for example, to be working. If you are present in what you are doing, absolutely you are going to have a better outcome of what you are doing. You don't need to work more hours, because in the hours that you are working, you are really present for what you are doing, not thinking about what is going to be done in the future or what is been done in the past. Of course, I love history. I love to learn from the trends, the world trends, the psychological trends, the human trends, but that it's all coming to the present moment, and from that it's you can expand your awareness, and that's useful on the work side. But maybe you are not so interested in the work side. Maybe you are interested in the relation side, in the making love. How it makes sense to be in that moment, that divine, precious moment of making love. If you are thinking in the past, and as Lakshmi say, maybe comes that thought, no guilty, just observe and coming to the body, coming to the present moment. Or to be in that so intimate moment and you start to think in the future. You are touching the other, but you are thinking already what you are going to do next. What? You are not living that moment totally. That is why it's so important to live the present moment, to bring us back to the present moment by the body. And that's how we can bring the present moment all the time. It's by the body. That means it's very useful in life. It can be precious and can increase the quality of the life. It can increase the results at the end that sometimes we are looking for. Because if we, it's the paradox of life is like the polarities. Without polarities, there is not union. There is no there is no energy. That is all about what we are. That means that we live in a beautiful paradox that is life.
Yeah. When we talk about polarities and the masculine and feminine, as we said in the previous video, it's not about the genitals or being male or female. It's these energies that attract each other. And to be aware of that energy is to be present in the moment and to feel the pull of the other. And when you become more present, and being present is a practice, and we really need to learn and retrain ourselves how to be in this moment and to be with the breath and with the body, because we're really conditioned to forget the body and stay in the mind. But when we learn to be in the body, to be with the breath, and to feel the energy from the other, then we can start to be more conscious of the magnetic pull from the other. And sometimes maybe it's not there, or maybe it's conflicting, or it pushes you away, and other times it can be really magnetic. So when we become more aware of this, we can start to play with it and to, but not control it, to be aware and to allow ourselves to be playful in the moment and move with it. And I'm talking about lovemaking. So like Ashik was saying, when you're not planning what's your next step, okay, now I'm going to go down here and I'm going to touch her there, or whatever. You're just feeling that magneticness of the other pole, of the other polarity, the masculine or the feminine, and you're moving with it and being playful. Being playful is being open, it's being curious. So that's what you can work with when you start to be in the present moment and to feel yourself, to feel your body, to be aware of the breath, and then to feel the other in that relation to you while you're in your present moment. Because if you are in the head and thinking, planning what you're going to do, you're not really feeling the other or following your intuition, with the connection of the energies that come together, it's more calculated and mental. So yeah, that's what Tantra invites, and that's what we're talking about, is inviting you to be in the present moment and to feel the energies that you are.
Yeah, to slow down, it helps a lot to connect more with ourselves. We connect more with our energy, to connect more with our body, to connect more with life itself, to slow down, to reduce the rhythm. It's an opportunity to get more in contact with what is, with the present moment. And we wonder why we don't do that more, why we have this difficulty on to be in the present moment. Maybe you are wonder why we don't want to feel. And the answer, it's very simple. It's a protection. It's the body, it has lots of wisdom. And maybe we had stories in our past that are too much, that hurt ourselves, that were difficult. And the body wants to not go there. And the mind starts to protect us with lots of thoughts to not feel. And that's okay. It's a natural protection. It's just to try to find in ourselves a place also that is safe, that we are adults, that we have a body that is here, we can ground, and we can very slow, very delicate to allow us to feel everything. And maybe sometimes it's too much. Then we need to start to feel little bits by little bits, to not try to solve everything at the same time, because that's also a way to perpetuate the things in ourselves as they were, to feel slowly, to feel this, to feel what is not easy to feel, but to be gentle, to be kind with ourselves in feeling that little piece of uh, discomfort, that little piece of discomfort, instead of trying to feel all the discomfort and try to solve all the discomfort that is eventually in us. To be delicate with our nervous system, to understand our paradox that we are, it's fundamental to go slowly opening to the meditation and to expand in Tantra our awareness of the world.
Yeah, you touched on a lot of very important topics, such as the nervous system and even our patterns, because we have our patterns that we developed ourselves as young children to protect ourselves in this world, and they served us. And I think that there's a lot of talk about deconditioning ourselves and reconditioning ourselves, and also breaking limiting beliefs and patterns. And well, I think that's very important. It's also important to acknowledge why those patterns exist in the first place and to appreciate them, because they protected you at one stage, like perhaps you grew up in a family with older brothers and you had to be really tough to protect yourself because they would bully you, and you have this like strong stance, and maybe that's you needed that. But now, as you've grown up, and you can allow yourself to soften, And when you allow that softening, you'll be surprised at how much different your life can be, and all the things that you want could start to come to you because you've softened. For example, maybe you are very tough and you want a relationship, but you're not attracting the right men. They're usually different kinds of men, and you're like, oh, I want somebody who can really see me, and you're getting men that treat you maybe like your brothers treated you. And then eventually, as you're conscious of that pattern, you appreciate the pattern, you allow that pattern to fall away in the body, because that's where it is. You allow yourself to soften, you allow your nervous system to reset, you allow yourself to acknowledge that you're safe now. And then you might start attracting men that really see you for who you are. That's an example. But I think what's important is to go on what Ashik was saying, that sometimes we feel like we're too afraid to feel, because maybe you were growing up and feeling or expressing your emotions was frowned upon, or you were judged, or you were told to stop crying, or you're too sensitive and all of that. So we've also conditioned ourselves to not feel, especially the men. The men have been ridiculed and had their emotions suppressed. So for them to feel any emotion, then they feel like they're not man enough to be in this world, and that is there are so many big lies, but that is a lie. Men need to feel their emotions, and it's absolutely not weak. There's nothing weak about feeling your emotions. Emotion, energy in motion, is just the body expressing itself. If you want to cry, men, cry. It's okay. And this is what is happening now in the world. There are so many men waking up to the fact that they've had their emotions suppressed, and they need to be able to feel them. And that's what we need to do in this meditation and Tantra work, is to allow our bodies to experience their full capacity, which involves anger. There's nothing wrong with anger if it's expressed in a healthy way, not on another person. Sadness and all of that. When we can feel ourselves, we can be more in the present moment. Yeah, and I think that touches on what you were saying about not being able to feel, not allowing ourselves to feel. But through this awareness and through this practice of being present, we can give ourselves the opportunity to do so and allow our nervous systems to reset. Because when the nervous system is not allowed to process whatever it is experiencing, things are held in the body. You get more stuck and more contracted, and then the energy cannot flow, which is such a great thing that I learned from practicing yoga. You learn to open the body, and that's just one way. You can do it through dance or anything, but it's a way to be in the body and allow the shoulders to relax, allow your butt cheeks to relax, allow your jaw to relax. And when you do that, the energy can flow better, and then you are much more in the present moment.
Yeah. To arrive to the present moment, we have to be gentle with ourselves. And especially in the relation, there is lots of things happening, lots of triggers happening, lots of dynamics between us in the relation that really show us what we really are, because there is a part of us that is a protection. We have a protection layer around us, but with other, we want also to get close to the other. And if we want to get close, if there is the two protections layers, they start to clash and doesn't work. And then there is other part that is after these walls, these protection layers, that is our wound, and we all have. It's part of life. When we grow up, we get hurt here, we get hurt there, we get little trauma here, a little one there, and that's wounds. And we do not want to reveal to the other. We don't want to reveal even to ourselves. But there is only one way to get the intimacy. There is only one way to connect with the other, is to expose our wounds, is to reveal them to the other. Because only then we can arrive to the end of these three circles, to the center of our beings, our real self, the light that we can see on the other, that is protected by this wall that hides these wounds. And all of this understanding has to be clear, for we be gentle to ourselves, because Tantra, as we spoke in a part one, has two pillars: as the meditation, to be present for what it is, to look at this, to have awareness about that. But there is other pillar that is fundamental. That's the love, and that's the kindness, that's the gentleness, that's the compassion. And that compassion starts in ourselves, start to love ourselves. And only then we can love the other. And to understand that in one side, that the other, more love there is, more triggers there will be, because there is the container, the love container, to all the needs to be healed, all needs to be released, moved from the stagnation, that all of that happen because there is a big container of love. And maybe they didn't teach me that, and was very difficult for me to understand every time that I fall in love, and then there was something that didn't work out. I thought, that's not love. But it's exactly the opposite. It's the paradox again. More love there is, more wounds they will arise, because they are like pearls that needs to be seen with the light, and to reveal ourselves totally. And only then we can live the totality of the present moment with other, because we are not in a protection that spends lots of energy to protect. And if we don't need to protect, we just need to be ourselves, to breathe, to be on our bodies, to show as we are. And yeah, we can be better always, but not in a sense that we need to perform something, but in a sense that we can always to let it go what is not from our pure self, and to reveal more our essence. And that's where the Tantra can help us in that expansion of awareness with other, and to reveal our true self to ourselves and to the other.
Like I said in part one, love is not all about rainbows and butterflies. I think that the fairy tales we were showed in our younger years, especially for women, we have this idea that a Prince Charming will come along and whisk us away and we'll live happily ever after. And although I wasn't such a fan of fairy tales, I had to come to the realization that I was really expecting that. Like, when I was starting to have relationships, and if they were a little bit difficult, I would be like, oh, it's not the one, this is too challenging, this is not love. But it's with maturity and realization that I learned that love helps you grow. Love breaks you apart so that the light can shine through. It's not about breaking in the sense of destruction, but about breaking in the sense of freeing. So leading with love, being in love, rising in love with a partner, with yourself, it's not an easy path. It's looking at yourself with truth, with compassion, but also with strength, because sometimes we don't want to see our shadows. We don't want to acknowledge the dark aspects of ourselves, the behaviors, the belief systems, the manipulation that we do to each other. And manipulation is not necessarily a bad word. You can manipulate people in a positive sense, but they have to be willing to be manipulated. Like when you go for hypnotherapy, you are like, manipulate me, basically. So the thing is that we have to, if we really want to live in our authenticity, from our essence, without all these limiting beliefs and conditionings that don't serve us, we have to have strength, self-compassion, and presence. So sometimes you can go into like a mistrust trance, as one of our teachers calls it. You can be triggered by your lover and you go into this trauma of when you were very young, and you cannot see the truth. You cannot see the reality. And that is when you need to put the practice of meditation into practice. You have to be present, realize, and to love yourself and say, okay, I'm acting like the child that I was when I was 5. How can I move forward in a way with integrity that serves me and the other? And it's not always easy, and it does take practice, but it becomes easier as you do it. As the more you do it, it becomes easier, because you become more aware and you become more compassionate and relaxed. Your nervous system is like, okay, it's not that time now. I'm safe now. This person is not trying to harm me. But still, that trigger is there, and the trigger is good. And like you were saying, it helps you to release, to let those things move, to let all those suppressed things come up and express themselves. And like I said before, it's that stagnation that keeps us contracted, and it feels so dangerous to allow those things to break apart, to allow them to come up and be released and expressed. It feels so dangerous, completely against our ego. And our ego, also not the enemy, but like the mind, it can be used by us with awareness for our benefit. But at the moment, our egos kind of control us, and we are almost like the victim of our egos, because we don't know the truth of ourselves. We are so disconnected from the present moment and from our own essence that sometimes we think that our ego is us. And when we can work with the ego, work with the mind, and use them both as tools, leading from the heart, giving more recognition to what's in the heart, you'll have a much more blissful life, because you will not be feeling like the rest of the world is out to attack you, or you won't be in this protective mode. You will be in a state of trust, a state of expansion.
Mm. There is this energy that is the heart, and there is this energy that is the mind, the brain. And I heard a sentence many years ago that I found very interesting, but I don't agree totally. That is the brain. It's a good slave, but a bad master. And the heart, it's the good master. That means that the mastering between the brain and the the brain and the heart, should be the heart to be in command, to be in charge, that says the way, to says the direction, and then the the mind, with the good, all the good capacities of the mind, make that to happen. I prefer, instead of having this dichotomy between master and slave, to have a cooperation between both, with respect from the oldest, respecting the lineage, the heart, historically, in the development, biologic of the aliveness that we become as unicellular to what we are, Homo sapiens sapiens, is been there for much more time than especially the neocortex. That's neo, it's new. It's the new, it's like the teenager that wants to do many things, that thinks he knows already everything, and has amazing energy and capacity to do things that others that cannot do. But it's good to have the wisdom of the heart, to have the orientation of the heart, to say where to go, what to do. And then there is the practical part of the brain that brings that in practice. It's a bit between also the energies of the feminine and the masculine. It's a bit this polarity, the polarity between the heart and the mind. But we have both inside of us. Doesn't depend of if we own a penis or we own a vagina. We have both inside of us. We have this energy of the heart, and we have the energy of the neocortex. This is all energy. It's all exchange, chemical and energetic, in our brains. And to bring that in consciousness, to bring where we can go, where we can go, and how we can go, it's fundamental to understand ourselves, to understand the world, and to understand the practice. Is to bring the meditation and the love in practice. It's to bring the two pillars of Tantra in the world.
Yeah, I love what you said about the heart and the brain, and the heart not being a master or a slave, but to work in companionship and to work together. And that also comes a lot down to the masculine and feminine. You know, we have this society that's masculine, male dominated. And then there's a rising up of the feminine and wanting to be stronger. And for me, it's so important to know the beauty of both aspects, and for both men and women to rise together, not to dominate one or the other, but to encourage each other, support each other, because we are like a key that fit together. Whether you identify as he, she, they, whatever, like, we are humans and we all have these masculine, feminine energies, and it shouldn't be a fight. And just with the heart is a feminine, more feminine energy, whereas the mind is more masculine because it's calculative, it's good with planning and stuff, and the heart is a bit more nurturing and caring. And when we join those two together, we'll have so much more peace inside. If we stop fighting with the mind, like, oh, you know, sometimes we have these thoughts that bring us down, or we just so used to being in the negative thoughts. But with meditation, we can learn to change the thoughts. Not to say anyone is bad, but we can make their thoughts more effective for what and how we want to live in this life. And the heart has got so many untapped capacities that we're not aware of even yet. But if they're working together, if you're too much in the heart, maybe you will lose direction in your life. So we need to balance those. um, and that is why a lot of tantric practices use these polarities, is to help you play with them in our meditation practice. And then when you're out in the regular world, daily life, you can feel those energies and work better with them.
Yeah, bringing some practice on, because we speak about meditation, but we can, and meditation is to be present for what it is, and can be anything, because we can be present for what it is in every moment. And also there is some practice, some techniques that can help us to get more in contact with our possibilities of being present for what it is for meditation at the end. And speaking a little bit about the meditation, normally we think about meditation as just a practice that we are seated, that we bring the air in to bring the air out, that we have the eyes closed, that we have a space of silence or soft music, that we don't have any kind of interference. If we have kids or dogs that arrive and disturb that process, that practice in that moment, to have the phones off, and that's a possibility. And it's we recommend that you bring that to your life, that you have a daily practice to feel that that time of nurturing yourself. It's not a time to be, oh, I'm not in silence like I was for a couple of years. Oh, I'm not in silence. This never worked. Oh, tomorrow I have to do better. No, it's just to observe and to connect more and more with the body, with your breath, and with your energy. But also you can have the support, and that's what we call silence meditation. Then that you can have the support of a voice, for example, that we that says what could be done, like close your eyes, start to breathe slower, don't get connected with the thoughts that come and go back always to your heart, to the body. And in this is a kind of meditation that somehow is guiding you. It's the guiding meditation. But there is also the ones I prefer, that is the active meditations, that somehow it's a way to connect with the body, sometimes with a very active movements with the body, or with strong breaths, that sometimes with jumping till you get exhausted, to to get connected with the body, to calm down this neocortex that wants to always say something else, having other idea, bringing a new thought. And you just jump and breathe and jump, and then you sit, and only then you sit, and then you get in the phase of the pure meditation, of the possibility to be not thinking that I have to jump, or to move in different ways, to occupy the mind in a different way, than different from the traffic of the thoughts. And when you sit, it might work that this silence, surprisingly, whoa, is there. And then you can connect also with the observer of this silence, and even with the observer of the observer. But it depends and a lot of your own experience. And what we recommend is to try different meditations, to try even in the active meditations, there are different processes, and you can have one that works better for you for a time. In our process, we recommend, in our process of work, we recommend to do like 21 days on the row of meditations to see what is happening on you, because it's very important, the discipline in the spiritual path. It's fundamental. And also to add, there is also the social meditations, which is interesting, that you interact with others and before you go in your own silence, by yourself. On the other side, there is the meditations that you do with the other, that are more challenged somehow, because you have to deal not only with yourself, but what the other bring to yourself. Or in other polarity might be more challenged, but might be more attractive, because there is the connection with the other. And then is somehow what happen in tantric meditations, that we do meditations together, we are with the other, because most of the our life we are interacting with others. How to be present with the other, how we bring the meditation to our lovemaking, to our connection with other. And that's kind of synthetic, no, um, not superficial, but a picture of what is
Overview.
overview. That's the word. Overview of what possibilities you have in meditation. Of course, we can go deep in each of them and to see the amazing possibilities that you have to experiment by yourself. The most important is that you feel in your body, that you try by yourself and you see what works for you. And maybe it will work some meditation for a while, and then it will work better other meditation, till you arrive to a point that you try to bring that meditation field to every moment in your life. And because there is always the possibility to go back to yourself, to your body.
Yes, so there are many different types of meditation, as you were saying. And the first place to start is with yourself and with your breath. You can do, like I totally agree with the Sheikh, to have 21 days to do one practice, preferably at the same time, but at least once a day for 21 days, because that helps. That gives enough time for the neural pathways to be created for this new habit. So practicing or cultivating the habit of meditation will be life transforming. Yeah, even though your life is just fine the way it is. There's no need for transformation. However, if you want to live a more peaceful, blissful life, meditation is the path to take. Self-awareness and self-compassion will help you on that path to deal with any mental fatigue that you might have from all this overthinking. And I recommend you start by yourself and with the breath. We have many different practices that you can choose from, and active meditation is a fantastic way, especially if you have a very busy mind. Get it out in the body, like from the body, sorry, and you allow whatever is there to be expressed. And then sitting in silence after you've expressed all of that energy that needs to come out, you will have a different sensation within your body, because energy would have moved. And when energy moves, more energy can come in, and it's like a fresh dose of oxygen, but it's energy. Fresh creative ideas or experiences may happen in your body that you've never experienced before. And many people come to tears when they do tantric experiences or tantric practices, because they release things that they didn't even know were there, and then more consciousness is able to move through you. And that is really the beauty for me of tantric meditations and different practices.
Yeah, the homework is to choose a meditation. There is Osho meditations that we practice. You can choose a Kundalini meditation, or you can choose a chakra breathing meditation. It's a very important meditations. Or if you want to go to something stronger, like dynamic meditation, and to practice, as you said, for 21 days. And maybe you say, oh, this dynamic didn't work for me, or it worked fantastic for me. But this Kundalini, it worked. I'm going to practice that every week, and I'm going to practice that every day if I have that possibility and that will to do that. Most important is that you feel by yourself, that you are your own guru, that your body is your teacher, and to not just to follow a new belief system. Just that's the same that you were we were doing in a belief system that should be like that, like in a tantric sex that we will have an episode following this one, that it's like, oh, we were educated that men to do sex as to get erected and boof and to go inside, and maybe there is much more possibilities than that. It's like we don't want to bring you a new belief system. We want that you experiment and that you have trust in your body, trust in yourself. And fundamental is to be kind, to have cultivate self-love. That is also very important to bring back to ourselves that self-love, like a child, like the child that really looks to his or her hand and wow, my fingers, and to have this wonder, this child, that curiosity that had make the big discoveries in the world. It was the curiosity, a simple curiosity of some interesting woman or man that wow, that, and then they found something. We can bring that to ourselves. And also, I want to speak about why I recommend in the practice the active meditation. It's very difficult that we are working in office or in hospital or engineer or in a building where we need to use our mind, that we need to achieve this and in this number of hours, and uh, that we need to drive with our GPS in a short way to arrive there, and then we sit toof like a monk that stays for 3 years seated very calm, just eating a rice, breathing, and then sit. And that's natural. Everything is slow, everything is calm, the environment is, it's no noise, no stimulation. It's much easy. In our modern life, where we need to do all that, it's much more difficult to coming from that place of mental activation, that we are asked to have a very strong mental activation, and then to sit and woof, and to be in silence, to be present. It's why the active meditations that connect first with the body, and connect with the body can be putting your preferred music, to take out the shoes, to feel the ground, and to dance like you are crazy. That means that the judge is out, that the conditioning is out, that your body is moving as you want. And to dance so vigorous, breathing, aware, enjoying, and then, boof, sitting, observing, being present. To explain a little bit about what are the effects that the active meditation can bring you in this modern society. That's the reason that I prefer to go more on the active meditation when I'm circulating in the world. Of course, the silence, the the space of silence. And if you have opportunity, if you live in a countryside, if you have all the time of the world, if you have time to purify with water yourself, to burn on the fire what you don't want to have in yourself, and to connect with the energy of the fire in your heart, if you are grounded with your feet on the empty, beautiful soil, then you might just sit under a tree and you hear the bird doing pew pew at the same time that you observe the air is coming in, is coming out, and you are just present. And then from under the tree you start to walk towards the garden, and you are caring about your veggie garden with totally love and presence. But most of us don't have that opportunity. And that brings to the Tantra side. When we connect with other, when we meditate with other, it's not also human to come from 8 hours of meetings, 1 hour of traffic. Finally, we park at home, arrive, and let's be totally present for each other. It's not human. We need to be gentle, to be soft with ourselves. Maybe we can arrive home after all these hours of work with the car parked or the motorbike of the public transport, doesn't matter, and to take a shower, to give a time, maybe to do a walk, if you have a garden outside or if you have a garden nearby, to connect with the nature for 20 minutes, and then to arrive to the other already without bringing all this energy from everything that happened during the day. Ideally, it's not to leave the connection with the other, the meditation on the tantric part, the meditation with the other for the end of the day, to live for the last thing that you do, like it is the last priority in your life, and all the other things are more important. It's to find a time during the day that you are not tired, that you are with all the energy, that you are all available to bring that practice for both of us.
Yes, it's really important to fill our own cup, so to speak. So when you've had like a busy day and you want to connect with your partner, I think it's very important, like you were saying, is to go and do something that makes you feel grounded, that helps your nervous system reset, where you can just let go all of the things that happened in the day, so that you can tune back into your essence, into your energy, and then go to connect with your partner. And maybe things for the man will be different for the woman, or if you're both women, maybe, or both men, maybe there'll be a different things that you like. It's not about one or the other, but maybe one of you would like a massage, one of you would like a hot bath. So after your busy day, you go and do something that grounds you, that nurtures you, that makes you feel in your body again. And then you can go and connect with the other from a more true place rather than a place full of activation and other energies. And or you can go and do an active meditation or a silent meditation, whatever suits you, or painting. Like there's meditation in art, or play music, writing, or whatever it is. There's so many things you can do to help yourself come back to yourself. And that's really important, and we'll be talking more about that in our next session.
Yes. Thank you for your presence with us.
Thank you.